Everyone wants to be seen as in control. But the truth is, most men are slaves to their emotions. A single insult burns them for days. A single failure makes them question their worth. A single rejection throws them into despair. They call it being human, but the Stoics called it what it really is: weakness. The world will not stop testing you. Life will not stop throwing fire in your path. The man who breaks at every spark will never survive the flames. But the man who learns to govern his emotions does not just survive, he becomes untouchable. And here is the truth most people don't want to hear. Controlling your emotions does not mean killing them. It means mastering them. It means taking the wild horse inside you and making it carry you forward instead of dragging you off a cliff. So let us uncover 6 ways, straight from Stoic wisdom, that will allow you to take command of your emotions and feelings, not to suppress them, not to run from them, but to turn them into your greatest weapons. 1. Emotions are not enemies, they're signals. The modern man thinks emotions are something shameful. He hides his sadness, he denies his fear, he pretends he feels nothing. But this is a mask, and masks always crack. The Stoics saw emotions differently. They are not enemies, they are signals. Anger is not just rage, it is a warning that your boundaries have been crossed. Fear is not cowardice, it is a signal that danger is near. Sadness is not weakness, it is a signal that something you value has been lost. The problem is not the emotion itself. The problem is when you let the emotion dictate your action. A soldier who panics at the sight of danger is destroyed, but a soldier who notices fear and then uses it to sharpen his senses, he survives. The Stoics taught, don't fight the feeling. Observe it, name it, study it. When you name the emotion, you separate yourself from it. You say, this is anger, this is fear, this is envy, but this is not me. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He understood that emotions arise naturally like storms. You cannot stop a storm from coming, but you can build a fortress strong enough to stand against it. The first step to controlling your emotions is not to deny them, not to bury them, but to recognize them for what they are: signals. And once you recognize a signal, you can choose how to respond. Because the man who cannot read his own emotions is like a general who cannot read the battlefield. He is already defeated. 2. The power of pause. Delay your reaction. Most men lose battles not because of their enemy, but because of themselves. A word is spoken against them, and instantly they fire back. An insult is thrown, and instantly they explode. A temptation appears, and instantly they fall. This instant reaction is what enslaves them. They are not men, they are puppets, pulled by the strings of their emotions. The Stoics had a weapon against this slavery. It was simple but deadly effective: the pause. When anger rises, pause. When fear shakes you, pause. When excitement clouds your judgment, pause. That pause is not weakness, it is power. Because in the pause, you gain something your enemy does not: clarity. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Why? Because emotions burn hottest in the moment of impact. But like fire, if you don't feed them, they die down. The insult that feels unbearable today will seem trivial tomorrow. The fear that freezes you now will fade when you face it with reason. The temptation that feels irresistible weakens if you deny it for just a little while. The pause gives you a chance to ask, what is really happening here? What matters? What is just noise? Think of the pause as a shield. Without it, every arrow of insult, fear, or temptation strikes you immediately. With it, you gain the moment to deflect, to choose whether to fight back or to let the arrow fall harmlessly to the ground. The man who reacts instantly is predictable, controllable, and easily destroyed. The man who pauses, who observes, who decides when and how to respond, he controls the game. The world will always test you, but if you can master the pause, you will never be mastered by your emotions. 3. Control through perspective. Shrink the weight of events. Emotions often feel overwhelming because we exaggerate the size of the problem. A single failure is treated as if your future has collapsed. A careless insult is carried like a lifelong wound. A minor rejection feels like a declaration that you are worthless. But the truth is, most of these are far smaller than your reaction makes them. Marcus Aurelius had a method: strip away the illusion. He would ask himself, what exactly is this thing in front of me? Lost money? Merely numbers changing hands. Betrayal? Just another man surrendering to his own weakness. Even death, the natural process of existence. The moment you peel away the drama, what remains is far less terrifying. Think of it like standing before a mountain. From far away, it looks impossible, endless. Step closer, and you realize it's simply rocks and dirt, climbed one step at a time. When you reduce a problem to its core, the grip of fear, anger, or despair loosens. Suddenly, the future is not an endless abyss, it's just the next action. The insult is not a world-shattering attack, it's just empty sound. Perspective dismantles the illusion of catastrophe. And the man who sees things as they truly are is never a prisoner of how they feel. 4. Control through discipline. Forge inner strength. Emotions do not rise only in the mind, they surge through the body. And a body that is weak, sluggish, and indulgent makes the mind easier to shake. But a body trained in effort, endurance, and restraint builds a mind that is harder to move. The Stoics prepared themselves by embracing simplicity and challenge. They walked long distances, endured cold, ate modestly, not to punish themselves, but to prove mastery. When you rise early instead of giving in to idleness, when you push through physical exertion instead of quitting, when you regulate what you consume instead of being ruled by appetite, you are not just training flesh, you are sharpening willpower. A man who avoids all struggle will explode the moment pressure comes. But a man who has practiced self-command in small things will not break when the storm arrives. Discipline creates reserves of steadiness, so when anger flares, you can contain it. When fear rises, you can stand. When desire tempts you, you can say no. Control is not built in the moment of crisis. It is built every day in the small battles you win with yourself. And the one who governs his habits, his time, his body, soon governs his emotions as well. 5. Control through reflection. Question the first impulse. Most men are prisoners of their first reaction. An insult lands, they snap. A setback hits, they crumble. A challenge arises, they panic. But the first impulse is rarely the right one. It is raw, reckless, and often destructive. The Stoics trained themselves to pause, to step back before letting emotion command them. Epictetus taught, it is not events that disturb you, but the meaning you assign to them. So when fury sparks, ask, does my anger fix this? When fear creeps in, ask, is the threat real or just imagined? When sorrow strikes, ask, is this truly the end or just another turn in the path? This pause is not weakness, it is strategy. In that brief silence, you reclaim the throne of your mind. You shift from instinct to judgment. A swordsman who flails in rage dies quickly. The master who waits, observes, and strikes once wins. Reflection is that precision. The man who interrogates his emotions controls them.
The one who never pauses remains chained to them. 6. Control through acceptance. Transform hardship into power. Pain, loss, betrayal. These are not exceptions in life. They are guarantees. The fragile man fights against them, resents them, and drowns in resistance. But the disciplined man accepts them and bends them into strength. This is amor fati, not begrudging tolerance, but full embrace. Whatever life delivers, you treat as necessary. If it comes, it has meaning. A failure becomes a lesson that sharpens your resolve. A betrayal reveals truth you refuse to see. A setback forces you to grow beyond your comfort. Acceptance does not mean resignation. It means refusing to waste energy on denial.
It means converting the inevitable into advantage. When storms arrive, most men curse the sky. The Stoic raises his sails and lets the winds carry him forward. That is the final stage of control. Not that life spares you, but that no trial can hollow you out. Each blow, instead of shattering you, becomes the very stone on which you stand taller. Control your mind and you control your world. The weak collapse, the strong endure, but the wise command themselves completely. Subscribe to Truminds for more Stoic wisdom like this.